Greetings and welcome to the Tuesday, November the 18th, 2025 edition of Denison Forum's Daily Article Podcast. Cultural theologian Dr. Jim Denison authored today's article. I'm Chris Elkins, narrator. Tom Cruise received his first Academy Award this week, an honorary Oscar presented at the 16th Annual Academy Governors Awards. He told the assembled gathering, "Making films is not what I do, it's who I am." Then he added, "I will always do everything I can to help this art form, to support and champion new voices, to protect what makes cinema powerful, hopefully without too many more broken bones." Equating what we do with who we are, our performance with our identity, is not a worldview unique to Mr. Cruise. We are made with a God-shaped emptiness, to paraphrase Blaise Pascal. But if secularized people will not turn to God, they will turn to anything else to fill the void. For many in a materialistic culture, our gods are therefore material measures of success, such as performance, possessions, and popularity. Accordingly, perhaps we should not be surprised that Gallup is now reporting the current drop in U.S. religiosity as among the largest in the world. In 2015, 66% of U.S. adults said religion was an important part of their daily life. Today, only 49% agree. This 17-point drop ranks among the largest Gallup has recorded in any country over any 10-year period since 2007. In a brilliant analysis of our cultural moment, the author and cultural commentator John Seale asserts that we are living through a civilization inflection. He describes this inflection writing, "The late sociologist Philip Rieff called our moment a third culture, a social order that has severed its link to the sacred. First cultures, in his analysis, lived with mythic transcendence. Second cultures, such as Christendom, drew moral authority from revelation. The third culture rejects both. It affirms freedom without form, choice without covenant, progress without purpose, overwhelmed with information without the capacity to live within a meaningful, orienting story." End quote. It was not always this way. I have begun reading American Sphinx, The Character of Thomas Jefferson by Joseph Ellis. In it, the acclaimed historian explains the background behind Jefferson's immortal Declaration of Independence assertion, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." According to Dr. Ellis, quote, "These are not quite the words Jefferson composed in June 1776. Before editorial changes were made by the Continental Congress, Jefferson's early draft made it even clearer that his intention was to express a spiritual vision when he wrote, 'We hold these truths to be sacred and undeniable, that all men are created equal and independent, that from the equal creation they derive rights inherent and unalienable, among which are the preservation of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness.'" End quote. I like Mr. Jefferson's first draft much better than the final version. Even the noted skeptic of Orthodox Christianity believed that we live in a world ordered by the sacred. However, many Americans would apparently not agree with him or with me today. Of course, as anyone who has ever built a jigsaw puzzle, the problem is that the wrong piece will not fit in the right hole. Wedging the self-evident into the sacred doesn't replace the sacred. From Psalm 135, verses 16 and 17, we learned that idols made by humans have mouths, but they do not speak. They have eyes, but do not see. They have ears, but do not hear, nor is there any breath in their mouths. Terrifyingly, in verse 18, "Those who make them become like them, so do all who trust in them." In a letter to the editor, British writer G.K. Chesterton observed, "The answer to the question, what is wrong, is, or should be, I am wrong. Until a man can give that answer, his idealism is only a hobby." End quote. The solution to what is wrong with us is not doing more of what makes us wrong. Self-evident self-fulfillment does not fulfill the self, as the current epidemic of depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues illustrates. To this point, my analysis of secularized culture may not feel relevant to spiritual people reading a spiritual article like this. But we must be aware that the same is true even of religious self-reliance. Working for God is not the same thing as walking with Him. Oswald Chambers was right. Quote, "We will set up success in Christian work as the aim. The aim is to manifest the glory of God in human life, to live the life hid with Christ in God in human conditions." End quote. Brother Lawrence testified, "There is not in the world a kind of life more sweet and delightful than that of a continual conversation with God." When we agree with Paul in 1 Corinthians 10, verse 31, "Whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of God," we will experience the glory of God in our souls. And not until then. The hymn writer prayed, "Riches I heed not, nor man's empty praise. Be thou mine inheritance, now and always. Be thou and thou only the first in my heart. O sovereign of heaven, my treasure thou art." Who or what is your treasure today? We're grateful for our podcast listeners. If you find the Daily Article podcast helps you better understand today's news and cultural issues and then respond biblically, please rate and review the Daily Article podcast on the platform from which you subscribe. That helps people find and follow the Daily Article podcast.